On this week's episode of What the Heck, we check in with Tyler to talk music and then dig a little bit deeper into who the heck this Tyler Heck character is. Crack a cold one, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of What the Heck. I'm Colin Frederick, here tonight with the one and only Tyler Heck. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing well, doing good.
We're trying to hold down the fort tonight. Jake is out of town, but he'll be back next week with bells on. We look forward to that, or we'll tell him that we're looking forward to that. But one way or another, we're going to put on the show because the show must go on. That's Hollywood, baby.
Yep.
And this is not.
This is big time. You can't stop.
You can't. You know, once the wheel gets moving, you can't slow it down. So we're here. We're enjoying a couple of cold ones after, well, I guess the week's not quite over, but we're getting there, finally making a little progress, and it looks like summer is really starting to set in here.
Yep,
Got a couple of hot days in a row. That's been uncomfortable for me. I'm still considering my Canadian northern migration, but I've not yet pulled the trigger on that.
I did finally turn the AC on last week.
We had to. We've been kind of volleying on and off. Like I'll turn it on at bedtime.
Yep.
Or especially on these days, like if I'm working outside and I have been out in 90 degrees all day sweating.
Right.
We'll turn it on in the evening so that I don't die of heat stroke.
It's nice to have it on at night. Even if you're, like, I don't go out that often. Like, I go out and maybe ride my bike every once in a while, but I still want to throw it on at night. I like to be a little bit colder at night.
I like to be chilly. I don't necessarily like being cold when I wake up.
Right. That's not great.
But I think that I prefer, I like being cold while sleeping well enough that it's worth a little chill in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also am, I have this thing, and it applies both at home and in, when I'm driving around in the truck. I love to be cool because I'm always hot, always. But also, I'm such a big fresh air guy.
Yep.
The very wise man, Greg Luick, the great Walworth philosopher, once declared windows down while in town, and that's a law that I live by.
Yeah.
If I'm in town and it's not raining, and it's anywhere between 50 and 150 degrees, the windows are down. But also, if it gets too hot, like I'll also run my AC so I'm staying cool.
Yep.
And likewise, if it's chilly outside and I still feel the need to have my windows down, I'm guilty of that, especially like when it's just like very early spring.
Yep.
It's like your first hint of weather that's not 20 degrees.
Right.
Then I'll get some warm air blowing on me, but I still, for some reason, feel like I have to have the windows down.
Mm-hmm. No, I do the same thing, and I think the hotter it gets, I feel more compelled to keep the windows down the faster I go. Like,
yeah.
If it's warm, if it's really warm out, I don't have a problem driving on the freeway with the windows down, still cranking some AC. But if it's in that like mid, where we're at right now, I'd probably keep them down. Freeway. This is probably like it's getting close where I might shut them. But the hotter it gets, the more places or the more speeds I guess I keep those windows down.
I think that for me it also depends on the wind, direction, and velocity, because when you get it like beaten on the side of your head,
right,
that's not that comfortable. So then I have to balance like my level of comfort with my other level of comfort. And usually I just take a beating from the wind because...
The other thing I found out, and I found this out by accident because some of my windows haven't been working, I get less wind in the face if I have my window down and the window behind me cracked like 3/4 and leave the other two on the opposite side up.
That's interesting that you could do that. Do you ever get that thing where like you get that terrible howl in your car and you feel like your head's going to explode?
Like the perfect spot for all the windows. That's where I found you got to keep the far side up, and if you got the driver's side down, the driver's side back seat about 3/4 of the way is like the perfect spot. I have no problems with that.
My go-to is both the driver and passenger windows are down. I have the moonroof, not just like the little like vent, the little sunroof vent, but I have the whole thing rolled up back open, and also my rear, like my middle window on the back slides. And so I'll do that as well. If it's really nice, I just open everything up.
Right.
I recently discovered on my key fob, if I like double tap the unlock button and hold it, all my windows roll down.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is nice.
It's cool. So I can I'll set the AC real cold when I get out, so then I can start it,
Right.
and then open all my windows, and then that puppy's just like ready to roll with fresh air and cold air, and I'm really looking forward to that. I discovered that accidentally over the winter when I opened my windows when it was like snowing.
I was gonna say not the greatest.
That
time
wasn't
to figure it out.
ideal, but it's a very valuable lesson that I'm looking forward to trying out here some more this year. So I think we've got a good episode ahead of us. It's going to be a little different dynamic since it's just the two of us. There's a song about that. I don't know if you noticed about me, but I'm a big song guy. Song lyrics.
Yeah.
The last couple days I've been working with my cousin Ben on my crew, and I drive him nuts because I do this thing, and I do it to everybody. But like in the middle of conversation, I'll just speak some song lyrics to like whatever's on the radio. So you're talking to me, and I'm like listening to you, but also listening to the song that's playing, and that's what I'll respond with, whether it's irrelevant or
I think a lot of people do that because I've caught myself. I don't do it often, but like sometimes you're just set up perfectly to do it.
Oh, and yes, and it drives Katie insane. She's like, "You're never listening to me," and I'm like, "I am. I'm listening, but also, I can't miss this part of this song. What if I never hear this again until I have my phone out, playing music again tomorrow?"
Yeah.
So she just doesn't understand. We also get into this thing where I'll be like, "Oh, I heard this great new song, and I think the lyrics are really clever. You should listen to the lyrics." All right, okay. So I play the song, and then she starts talking to me, and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, but I thought we were doing this thing where I was showing you this new song and you were listening to the lyrics so that we could, discuss that perhaps, but you're not listening." She's like, "Oh, fine." And she gets more frustrated because I literally I'll like, boop, pause the song. Like she'll start talking and I'll pause it until she's like done talking. I'll respond or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, sorry." And I'll play.
It's weird how some people like I love music.
Mm-hmm.
Music is like I'll have it on all the time if I can. But other people are like, like I'll maybe listen to this or listen to that. Like music is just awesome.
I just had that conversation with somebody that we hired I guess we hired him a while ago, but I was like, "So what kind of music do you listen to?" And he's like, "Well, I really just listen to the radio, kind of what's ever on." I was like, "You don't have any music that you like? You don't have a favorite artist or song or genre?" I can't. It was bizarre. I was like, I appreciate that, and maybe he was just like being nice so as not to offend my, my tastes.
Right.
No, I don't really listen to anything, just whatever's on.
But you choose whatever's on. So
yes,
that's the thing that gets me. It's
right.
Yeah,
like okay, you're in the car by yourself.
Like, I'll listen to whatever, but I always pick I've got an order of how I would listen to things.
Sure.
But
I don't know. It was strange.
It's funny that you brought that up because that's kind of that was going to be my topic almost. Almost right on the head.
So, well, with that, I think there's no better time than now to ask Tyler, what the heck?
So, like I said, I'm a big music guy, and especially now, driving around windows down, you got to have the right music on.
Oh, yes.
It's weird if there's certain songs that come on, especially, it also depends on who's in your car.
Yeah.
I drive a lot by myself right now. There's not a lot of people around that I'm driving with, so I can't have, these slow ballad love songs going all the time.
Right. Whereas if you're driving with your mother, then...
Right. So you got to play to the audience in the car. So I guess I want to know more from you out there in podcast world from our listeners. This is a question for you because I want you to email in, or we're going to send out a link here on Facebook sometime this week where you can send us some voice clips for us to use. But I want to know two things, and I'll answer and Collin will answer as well. But I want to know if a stranger were to turn on your car, what's the first thing they're going to hear? It could be a band. It could just be a genre. If it could be a podcast. Who knows? But I want to know what is mostly or mainly played in your car. That's the first thing. The second thing I would like to know is, what are some of your guilty pleasure artists? Because in the past, in a past episode, we brought up Kesha. And while I think a lot of our viewers agreed with us that Kesha's the bomb, you can't not listen to Kesha. I think in general, people would look at us and say, do you really listen to Kesha? Us big bearded gentlemen. Like, I have no problem admitting I listen to Kesha. She's awesome. But I want to know from all of our viewers, what are some of your maybe embarrassing, who do you like that you're not always going to admit maybe right away? Someone really you have to really know someone and feel comfortable with them to say this artist or band name. But I'll begin. If someone were to turn on my car, especially now, Sirius XM is like one of the greatest inventions ever.
So unbelievable.
Oh, I love it.
Can you tell Katie Cook just how great Sirius XM is?
Oh man. Now, I'll say I got it when I bought my car almost 6 years ago. I got 6 months. Loved it. Didn't love the price, so I didn't re-up it. And they've been sending me deals, some crazy deals the last couple of years.
Always.
And I've always just said, no, I don't drive. I mean, I live a half a mile from work. I'm not in the car really long enough to justify paying that much. But I finally jumped back on the bandwagon a couple months ago, right before all this started, too, where I thought, hey, I'm going to be driving and seeing a lot of people. And now here we are, stuck at home. But I jumped on the bandwagon because they sent me a deal I couldn't refuse. A year subscription, $5 a month. Like, you're never going to see that. So I had to jump back on.
I have found, in my experience with SiriusXM, if you call them and you're like, yeah, got to cancel.
Yep.
They're like, wait, don't go. What if I give you... And this actually just happened to me the last time. When Katie and I bought the house and started going through finances and whatever and deciding what was going to stay and what was going to go, that was one that was going to go, because I also have Apple Music with a million songs and play. Like, my truck is just always on Bluetooth. It's always my phone playing. So she's like, what do you need this for? And I was like, well, sometimes my Bluetooth doesn't work right. Sometimes I don't want to put the time in to pick a song, and I just gotta go to the radio. Also, there's some personalities on the radio on Sirius XM that I like. But whatever. I was like, no, you're right. I got it. It's time for me to do this. It hurts my soul a little bit, but I'm gonna do it because the things we do for love. Another song.
Oh man, just killing it.
So I called and I'm like, hey, gotta cancel. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, cause it's too expensive. Whatever. Like, it's great, and I'm sure that I'll be a subscriber again at some point. But right now,
just not in the cards.
I have been directed. No, that's not how it went.
Ordered? No, I don't think that's right either.
Suggested.
Yeah.
It's one of those. She puts that little smile on, and then I'm like, all right, man.
I guess.
I suppose I'll. All right. So I called. I gotta cancel. And they're like, no. What's it gonna take? And I'm like, no. I just, it's not in the cards right now. And they're like, okay. And they give me some offer that's like pretty low. And they're like, well, you're gonna have 18 less channels, but I can somehow save you $23 a month. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got it down to $10 a month or something. It was like I was paying like 30. Like,
oh Jeez.
Because I had it, I
Wow.
bought the truck and got the deal,
Right.
and then they like auto renewed and put me at the highest package, which is nice
Right.
because then you get, there's sometimes I'm on the road and I want to listen to a football game, and you can get the home or away broadcast and all the
Right.
stuff. I also have streaming, so I can stream it on my phone. So I've been known to like listen to college football games at work, or if I'm at my desk, I can turn it on and
Right. Yeah.
So I was paying for that. Then I was going to cut back like just a hair for way less money. And then I was like they were so close because like you can pretty much talk me into
Right.
stuff. I'm a sucker for a good deal, and that was a good deal. But I was like, no, I can't. I got it. Nope. I don't need this. Like I listen to my phone all the time.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, well, here you go. And then offered me something dirt cheap, like $3 or $5 a month or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I came home, honey, all proud. I got such a great deal. I thought you were going to cancel. Well, I was, but I didn't. But I tried to.
And we're still saving money.
And we're saving money, and that's what counts here. I promise I will go back to work and earn an extra $5 every month, even if I have to go clean up the neighbor's poop. Not the neighbor's
Neighbor's
dog.
dogs, yeah.
Don't get any ideas over there, quack. I'm not touching any of your poop. So that's me. Sorry I derailed you, but Sirius
No,
XM.
seriously. Yeah, Sirius XM.
It's serious.
Seriously. It has been so I turn on my car right now, and it's probably, I'm going genre to start, because it's like by far my most favorite genre. 80s hair band.
Ooh, strong.
It's just Hair Nation.
Yep.
That's the channel. Love it. Even if I switch off of it as I park my car, I go back to it so that when I turn my car on, that's what
it
comes
is.
on. That's like my go-to, and I probably listen to that 90% of the time I'm in the car, because there's so many great hair bands, and they don't play like they play the hits. They play, Pour Some Sugar on Me. They play a lot of Bon Jovi, a lot of those big names, big songs, but they also play a lot of very, like, to me, not very known bands, and some of those other, like, they play some Def Leppard songs that I've never heard of.
Sure.
And I love Def Leppard. And I hear it, I'm like, oh, I don't remember this song, and then I got to go add it to my playlist. So I love it. It's great. And it's, even though it's, a very specific genre there with 80s hair bands, you get a lot of variety. Just even in that, you go from Motley Crue and Ozzy to Def Leppard, and then some of the ballads, and it's just a great mix of everything. So that's my go-to. If someone were to start my car, that's what you're going to hear, especially right now. It's going to be a little bit louder because windows are down, so it's cranked a little bit.
You gotta.
And then my guilty pleasure that I really don't have any problem hiding from anybody. I'm a huge T Swift guy.
Oh, strong.
Big T Swift guy. To the point where I'll play it at school all the time. And I have kids ask, like, why do you like Taylor Swift so much? And I lie to them and I say, oh, we're actually really good friends. And I have some of them like believing it for months of the school year. I had, I don't remember which class. I think it was last year's class. I had a good chunk of them believing that she wrote the song 22 about me because I was turning 22. And because I just knew the song so well.
Sure.
And I went on until finally one day I slipped up and said something that one kid caught on and then had to tell everybody. But yeah, she's like, I don't even know, like, I consider her a guilty pleasure because, again, I'm a big bearded dude.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of those kinds of guys at concerts, but I've actually seen her twice in concert.
Look at you.
It was she was at Country Thunder.
Sounds like it's not
Long,
that
long
guilty
time
at
ago.
all.
No, I have no problems admitting I'm a big T Swift guy. But that's I like to listen to pretty much everything. Like, and earlier I know I said I hate when people say that, but I do. Like, these are my 80s hair bands. That's my go-to.
Sure.
No, hands down. But you look at my Spotify playlists, there's a very, very
Pretty
big
diverse
range in there. So.
Well, I will, when you start my truck, one of two things is going to happen. If it's on the radio for some reason, it's on the highway on Sirius XM.
Okay.
New country. It's tough. I like the personalities on there. I like a lot of the music, but a lot of like new country is not really my scene. So I have kind of a hard time with that. But if you like go across my presets, it's all country.
There's so many different country stations.
Oh, it's great. I got the
It's
highway.
so cool.
There's Prime Country, which is like 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
There's Y2 Country's
Yep.
good.
Those are my top 2 country go-tos right there.
Garth has a channel.
Yep.
And that's nice because that mixes it up a little
Yeah,
bit. He
'cause
plays some other stuff.
Right, he picks a lot of odd genre stuff
Yeah.
that you wouldn't expect him to play.
Kenny Chesney has No Shoes Radio's good.
Yeah.
It's got kind of like a beachy island kind of vibe
Yeah,
to it a
like a
lot of
Jimmy
times.
Buffett
Yeah, Buffett
of
and
a-
Marley
yeah.
and some of that kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. But for the most part, I'm generally, if I'm listening to the radio, I'm generally listening to country music. If my phone is connected, it does this wild thing where every time I start, it just like shuffles. So it might play anything. And much like you, my music library on my phone is just absurdly random.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
Whether it's new country or old Taylor Swift or Gordon Lightfoot, with the most valuable history lesson of all time, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Considering that being the theme song of the show, though it does not really have a lot to do with this,
No.
but God, is it just powerful.
It's just it's such a great song.
If they had 15 Mormons behind her, that ship would have made it.
Oh man.
Excellent swimming. A little Meatloaf. My
Ooh.
mother's a big Meatloaf fan.
Nice.
We always talk about it. That my favorite Meatloaf song is "Paradise by the Dashboard Light." If you've got like I don't know, 17 minutes to commit to a song, that's
Great.
the one.
Yes.
But my mom always jokes that she had to stop listening to Meatloaf with us in the car when we were little when my oldest brother started asking why there was baseball in a song.
Yeah.
Oh, they're listening to the lyrics? Okay, well.
Yeah.
So that was the end of
on pause
Meatloaf.
for a couple of years.
So if my phone's hooked up, it's going to be something pretty random. And I kind of like that. Sometimes I just let that go and I let my phone shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I kind of have to be in a specific mood for the shuffle.
Yeah, I definitely find myself like if I shuffle my phone, I skip
A lot.
songs.
I do a lot of skipping.
But it depends. Yeah, like what mood I'm in. I might skip a song this week. That next week I'm like, oh, I'll play that again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all what's going on in my head.
But otherwise, I have like specific playlists for different things. I have like a warm weather country music playlist, which is different than my other country music playlist that has 80 hours of songs on it.
Right.
So it just kind of depends. Otherwise, occasionally I'll have a podcast going. Sometimes, God, it's just this unbelievable one. What the heck?
Oh, that is a good one. I've heard of that.
I've heard
it's
like
pretty new.
It's new. I would say it's an up and comer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really rising through the ranks, but I think they've got some good things going on.
I do too.
Also, I'm a giant Meat Eater podcast guy, and it's
I need to
the
get on
Meat
that.
Eater podcast that's made me realize how much time I put into podcasts, particularly in college, because they're on episode 220 something, and most of the episodes are 2 hours long, and I'm like totally up to speed.
That's a crazy amount of time.
So I've listened to over 400 hours of the same group of people talking for the most part, other than their guests, which are it's super interesting. And even if you're not a hunter, there's a lot about conservation and natural resources and things like that, and some science and some history, and there's kind of something for everybody. So it's great. And listen to that after you're done listening to all
Yep.
of these episodes.
Yeah, check
'cause
out What the Heck first.
we're more fun.
Yeah, and less time consuming at this point.
That's true.
You
don't
could
need-
finish us in a day.
I promise
now.
it will not take you 400 hours.
Yeah,
Listen
unless
to
you're
us.
listening to this in like 2023, and then
That's possible.
that's on you for waiting so long.
Truth. But, we're glad you're here anyway.
Yes, we are.
So I sometimes have podcasts going, but more often than not, it's my very random assortment of music. And my guilty pleasure, it's funny that you said Taylor Swift because that's kind of what I was thinking, but not any of her recent stuff. I'm out on that.
I like a lot of her recent, not all of the recent stuff. I like more of the recent stuff that isn't on the radio, I find.
Oh, look at you, edgy
like
guy.
some of the stuff, because oh, she's got a new album, I'll check it out.
Oh, I never.
And usually that she's already got
do.
2 or 3 singles out. The last couple singles I didn't mind. Before this, didn't really get into those. But I'm definitely like, I'll listen to the album and just, oh, that's actually a really good song. I wish that was the single, kind of a thing.
That's much more serious than me.
I'm very dedicated.
I only I can sing you some of the like pre-getting kicked out of the Academy of Country Music Taylor Swift songs. Tim McGraw, Teardrops on My Guitar.
Such good songs.
And then you get into like 15, Love Story, some things that as a teenage girl I really felt resonated with me.
Yes.
Oh, Taylor.
She knows how to get to your heart.
She
or knew.
Something.
Doesn't really tug at the heartstrings now lately.
You know, she's
but back then, man.
But there's some other stuff. What's that song with Maren Morris and all those other people? Zed and...
Oh, The Middle?
The Middle?
Yeah.
That song is so catchy.
I still crank that.
It's good.
It's a great song.
Good song.
She's got a really good voice, too. I've listened to... Again, I'm one of those guys where if I like someone, I'll give them a good listen. Yeah. And her album, while some of the songs I was like, she's got a great voice. And I did like a good amount of the songs off that album.
I just thought of it. Do you know who my real guilty pleasure is?
No.
Casey Musgraves.
Ooh.
She's got this like real weird like hippie free spirit thing going on, which is like the polar opposite of me. Like it could not be more opposite.
More different, yep.
But she's got this like real old timey country kind of thing. I just really like her voice.
She does have a really good.
She's fantastic. Voice. She put out a really strange Christmas special that I couldn't watch all of.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
It's bizarre. But that's probably one. Space Cowboys, that one song. There's something about an umbrella or a rainbow or... yeah, you can see how big of a fan I am. But anyway, Casey Musgraves is great.
It's not someone you're like a huge fan of necessarily. No. I guess I went a little bit, like I said, Taylor Swift's not really a dark horse.
Wow!
In that category. But for me, I feel like...
Unbelievable.
She is. So, but again, I want to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, please, write in. You can write on our Facebook. You can send us a message. You can send us an email at whattheheckpod@gmail.com. You can write a letter and send it to Jake's house.
Yeah, snail mail.
Snail mail to the Reese family. Anything. And like we mentioned, we're going to put out a link so you can send in a little voice recording. We can include that in the show. So you send us a message and we can respond to it almost like we're chit-chatting in real time.
Yeah, it'll be great.
It's going to be great, guys. Take our word for it. But now I think that it's time to address a request that I've received from a few different people, really, but especially my dear mother. She said, Collin, Sugar Pumpkin, she's...
You could barely finish saying that.
It's more like, hey, kid, this Tyler guy, he sounds great, He's been around a few times. I've met him. But, he's quiet. He doesn't talk too much. He's very soft-spoken. But, he seems great. And he's funny. When he talks, he's great. But he's just so mysterious. And so I think that it's time to dig a little bit deeper into the mystery that is Tyler Virginia Heck.
Gosh, so close. So close.
I'm getting there. I am heating up. So I want to take this time out for all of our listeners out there to meet the man behind the specs in our fancy logo. Tyler, let's start from the beginning. you were born.
I was born.
And now you're here.
I think.
Now you're grown.
I don't really remember.
You were born and you're grown, and
Yeah.
we're here. You're from Burlington, correct?
I am.
All right. Was that like you're always the Heck family genes? Those roots run deep?
Oh, yeah. They are very invested in the Burlington area.
And your grandfather, he's of local fame in the area, right?
Yes, but he's actually not a Heck. That's on my mom's side.
Aha! That
Actually,
changes everything.
let's be real. Both grandpas are in their respective circles. They're very
All right.
important.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are both sides of your family local then?
Yes. Yep. Well, more the Heck side. My mom's side is more up north near the Green Bay area.
Oh,
and,
sure.
Moved down this way. Went from Kenosha to Burlington.
The
Did my
dirty shot.
grandparents, So
All right. Well, that makes sense. That's kind of a weird thing that happens around here in this neck of the woods. I have one aunt and her husband live by Wausau, and everyone else is here.
I do have. Let's see. I have on my dad's side. I have some family who live in the Racine area, and then the rest of that family is not even just in Burlington, but within like 2 neighborhoods of each
That
other.
reminds me of Everybody Loves Raymond.
It's great. It's awesome. And then on my mom's side, me and my family, my grandparents are in Burlington, and then I have an uncle who lives up in the Neenah area.
They got a great foundry there.
Yes.
I don't know why I know that.
That was very random for you. to
I
bring up,
know, but it's because every time I'm driving, or not really driving, because I don't pay that much attention when I'm driving to what it says on the manhole covers. But if I'm walking,
yeah.
they all say Neenah Foundry on them.
Yep. That's
Boy, what a thing to be known for, manhole
Right?
covers. Why are manhole covers circle?
Is it because men are circle?
I don't know. Seems
I
like
gotta think that's what it is. It's easier to cut a circle than it is a square or any other shape.
I don't know. It's tricky. These are the things that keep me up at night. Anyway, an uncle and Neenah.
Yep.
By the foundry.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, majority of my family is all in this area.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Pros and cons, I suppose, like with anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Mostly
being in
pros.
Walworth,
If you're close to your family, it's
Yeah.
nice.
It's good.
And I mean, if you have a good relationship, it's nice to be
Yes.
geographically close.
It makes it easier to be like, oh, I'm going to go spend a Sunday over there and not feel obligated to go for the whole weekend.
Yes, which is important. It's important to always have an exit strategy.
Yep.
Pro tip number 38.
Yep. And then my sister also lives up in Neilsville, so about 3 hours that
I just
way.
learned where that is tonight. Actually,
Yep.
we were talking about that.
Yep.
Does she listen to this?
I hope so.
Seems like not.
If not, I'll bring it up. I'm
All right.
visiting. I'm going up tomorrow,
All
so
right, that'll be perfect.
I'll throw it up on the old boom box up there.
The old boom box. You stand out in front of the house with it over
Yeah,
your head.
Hold it over my head.
And that's your sister. It's not romantic. You're just trying to spread the
And-
word. Spread the gospel.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be. It's gonna be for the neighbors mostly. I want them to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's. I challenge all of you out there listening to this to go stand out in your neighbor's yard with a boombox.
Doesn't matter what's playing.
Nope.
Got to play something.
No, it does matter.
Well,
Play what the heck.
play what the heck.
That's the good word that we're
But
trying
if
to
you
spread.
don't, I mean, I'm not gonna be mad. I'll be super happy if you do decide to do that.
It's like like when you're a little kid and you do something, and your parents say, "I'm not mad.
Just
I'm disappointed."
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But you also have to have someone record it. 'Cause
Yes.
Otherwise, we're not gonna believe you.
and that while you're writing on our Facebook page about your favorite guilty pleasure,
Drop the video.
Drop the video. We'd love to see you standing out in your neighbor's yard.
Yep.
And it'd be better if you there was some kind of trespassing complaint because
Yeah.
it just adds to the story.
Yeah. Stories are awesome.
Stories.
You got to have a story with it,
Everybody needs a story.
and make sure they're actually home. Because
It doesn't seem
That's
that effective
not gonna make
otherwise.
a good story.
All right, but back at it. So you were born and you have a family.
Yep.
What else do you got? What happened then? You went to school, probably.
Yeah.
You went to high school.
Went to high school, all in Burlington. Lived in
The Burlington
only 2 different houses. Moved on my 5th
Demons.
birthday.
Are they the demons?
We are the demons.
I wrestled against a demon one time. Knocked him out.
Oh, did you?
Literally. I felt kind of bad. I think there's a picture on my Facebook.
Oh, well, it happens.
Those Burlington wrestlers, man.
Yeah.
Always,
Not the first time.
always unconscious and stuff. Went to high school.
Yep.
And then you did some sports. You were a sportster.
Yeah, I did. Growing up, I
Participated
did
in
a
the sports
lot of
ball.
sports, but high school, stuck with-
Croquet
Yep.
and
croquet,
tetherball,
badminton.
badminton.
Oh, we didn't have a tetherball team.
Damn.
I was a little disappointed. I wanted to play.
I'm a big fan of smashing the old cock on the badminton court.
Yeah, I think it's called a birdie though.
No, it's a shuttlecock, bro.
Oh yeah, okay.
Don't
See?
don't even come at me with badminton knowledge.
I wasn't a very good badminton player. I was JV all 4 years.
Oh my, how embarrassing.
I just did it to get the letter.
Well, I get it. I understand. That's why I joined tumbling.
Ooh, see, our tumbling team was really just gymnastics, and we were really good, so I was not going to fit in.
That's tough.
They wouldn't let me even be a manager. I wasn't good enough. That's how good we were.
People have always tell me that I have the perfect build for gymnastics.
I could see that. Uneven bars, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And the what's that called? The pommel horse.
The pommel horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should see me up there on that puppy, flipping around and doing whatever you do in gymnastics. All right. So you played obscure sports.
Yep, obscure sports, along with some football and then wrestling.
Okay.
So
Were you a spring sportster?
I was not in high school. I just needed a break. I did a lot. I still, worked out, stayed in shape and everything. But if I did anything, it would have been baseball.
Sure.
And I was just, at that point, I was baseballed out. It wasn't one of my top 2 sports. And I didn't feel, I remember thinking about it at the end of wrestling, like, do I want to do a spring sport? And I thought, if I don't want to go 100%, why am I going to try and take a spot from someone else who actually wants to be there?
That's another pro tip. Number 54.
Yep.
If you ain't first, you're last. No, that's different. That's number 67.
No, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, this one is something like being a good teammate.
Uh-huh. Of course.
Put others before yourself.
Give it your all.
Yeah.
So you did some sports. And then you graduated.
Yeah. Very surprisingly. But not really.
Miracles happen, And then you went to the University of Wisconsin La Crosse.
Correct, except it's pronounced lacrosse.
I
know you.
Yeah,
you
French is
Minnesota
not my
guys,
thing.
You have a trouble.
It's tough.
Yeah, pronouncing it. It's fine.
I understand.
Yep, I was not a warrior. They're the Eagles, not the Warriors. That was changed.
How dare you?
Which
ironically, now you're a teacher for the Walworth Warriors.
Correct. We are the Warriors, the Wildcat Warriors.
The Wildcat Warriors. So he's a warrior at heart.
Oh yeah.
But also an eagle and a cat.
An eagle cat.
A little kitty cat.
No, not eagle cat.
So you went there to La Crosse, and you studied biochemistry.
Yep.
And after a brief stint at Procter and Gamble, inventing Old Spice deodorants.
Yep, the lavender that's just coming out, that was my idea.
I can't tell you how much I hate the scent of lavender.
I would never. I'm a big Old Spice guy. I'm not going to wear that.
No, is that a real thing that's coming
It
out?
is. Have you? Oh, you probably haven't seen the commercials. But
No, I can't, because lavender's the worst. I used to have to pull weeds
It
when
is.
when I was growing up, and my mom had some lavender like around this rock, and I always had to pull the weeds around it, and then your arms rubbed against it, and then you smelled like the worst thing
I
ever.
don't mind like natural lavender.
Oh, that was
but like the fake lavender is really
no, it was all natural, and I wanted to hose
yeah,
myself
you
off
were
with
so
acid.
close to it though. Like if it's just like kind of wafting through the air, like it's not super heavy, it's not bad. But I'm not gonna wear it in a deodorant. I'm sorry.
It's bad.
It was my idea, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna.
So
not gonna wear it.
after your brief stint at Procter and Gamble, you decided to become a teacher.
Yep. Very similar programs.
Yes.
So it didn't have a whole lot of extra work to do.
From biochemistry to education. I get it. It's a similar career path.
Yep.
And so now you're here. Was Walworth your first teaching gig?
Full time, yes. I graduated in December, so I kind of had another semester to.
Why'd you got to be one of those
whatever.
smart guys?
Well, it was a semester longer than it could have been.
Okay. So you're one of those dumb
So I
guys.
took some time.
Oh, that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Took
course.
some extra time.
Hey.
I had to enjoy the whole college
Stop and
experience.
smell the lavender.
Yeah, perfect. And originally, so I graduated, and at first I wasn't even going to go into teaching.
He was going to go back to Procter and Gamble.
Yes, I was. I was actually working at the Boys and Girls Club up in La Crosse and was loving it, and so it was kind of, I guess, in teaching, but not during school.
Sure.
So I thought about doing that, but a long-term sub job back in Burlington opened up for the fourth quarter, and I applied and got it. So moved back home, and
Who did they have to pay
March.
to make that happen?
I just didn't get paid. My paycheck went to the principal.
That's not a bad setup, actually.
Yeah, I got the experience. That's really what I was looking for.
Life's about experience.
Mhm. I mean, you're looking for a job now. Everyone, you got to be 23 with 10 years experience.
I get that.
So I was out
That's
getting
why
my
I started
experience.
teaching when I was 13.
Exactly.
I was wise, man. Just wise beyond my years.
They had you teaching your classmates.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't actually teach. I have the kids teach.
Right.
It works. I think they learn.
Don't they call that like a flipped classroom or a reverse class? Isn't there like a term? Isn't that a thing? I feel like I remember that being a thing where like all of a sudden I'm like, why am I teaching classes? Isn't this what I'm paying you for?
I don't know if there's a term for that. It's not flipped classroom.
Is it
That's
called
something
like a
different,
lazy teacher?
but, I think that's what it's called.
10-4?
Yep.
I just thought that was weird. I'm just here so I don't get fined and to take some notes.
It's just the classic Marshawn Lynch play.
That guy loves Skittles.
Oh, who doesn't?
Well, you apparently because you like the shitty tropical
Whoa,
ones.
I didn't say I don't like regular. I just, if I got to pick between the two, I'm going tropical.
Yeah, if
This-
I gotta pick
this is
between
a
an ice cream
conversation for a
cone
different
and
time, though.
dog shit, I'm gonna eat the dog poop then.
Well, that's dumb.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
So, biochemistry.
Yep.
Education.
Yep.
Now you're here. You're teaching. You're riding a bicycle.
I am.
Just picked that up. I helped him. We took his training wheels off the other day.
Yeah, it's so different. I
Things
still
are-
sometimes feel like I'm gonna fall.
But it's really coming along.
Mhm.
I've been very proud to watch you grow and develop. And sometimes you ride that bicycle to the high school where you coach stuff.
Yeah, not very often because,
Not these days.
no,
Not a lot of coaching going on.
not a lot of coaching. And even when there was, didn't like riding my bike there very often because after practice I just wanted to get home. I don't want to use more energy to try and ride my bike. So it happened every once in a while, but probably not as often as it should.
I get it.
And
there's
it definitely doesn't happen during wrestling season.
well, it's snowy,
Yeah,
dark.
this bike is not made for.
We upgrade you. We get you one of those fat tire deals.
I might need some training wheels then too. We might have to put them back on for the snow.
Fat wheels and training wheels.
Yeah, I'm in.
That's not bad.
I'd be okay with that.
I saw some serious winter biking during my time in Minneapolis.
Yeah, lacrosse did too. It was weird.
It seems like
But then-
I have other things that I could be doing besides riding my bike in a snowstorm.
Like I did enough shoveling in lacrosse to. I didn't have to. I mean, I biked to class, I guess, every once in a while if it wasn't snowing, but it was cold.
I was more of a musher
But
myself. I didn't
see,
do.
they didn't allow that in lacrosse.
That's interesting
It's
because
city ordinance.
it seems like everybody needs a team of sled dogs,
It would have been great. I would have loved it. I'd have done that every time.
like that great Disney Channel movie Sled Dogs.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I think that's
There's the sled dogs. I think we talked about 8 Below.
Yeah, I
recently
know.
as well.
See, but it's important to cover all our bases.
Yep.
Then we can talk about Balto, the guy that saved the people during the Iditarod.
Balto might be one of my favorite movies that I haven't seen in a very long time.
It's not bad.
I mean, I can't. Again, haven't seen it in a while. I think it's a pretty good movie.
Do you know what just came up in conversation in my life that I hadn't seen in a long time that I also loved? The Fox and the Hound.
Oh my gosh! Talk about one of the greatest movies, but one of the saddest movies you're ever gonna watch.
Just kills you.
Even
but then
just
it's
thinking
okay.
about it.
But then it kills you again.
Yeah, they really tug at your heart in that movie.
It's
I
tough.
think they do it on purpose.
Also, Disney hates hunters so much.
Oh my gosh!
They're so
crazy.
like both dumb and evil in everything.
Right.
It's a damn shame. But Todd and Copper, they're so great. If anyone was ever going to get a dog and a fox pup at the same time, I think it's worth considering.
Yes.
So you coach stuff. Wrestling, a little grappling.
Yep.
You're a grappler. And also football. That's where we get to spend a lot of our quality time together on the bus.
Yep. Slanging the pigskin against them JVers.
Just slanging it. I think that really, beyond the gridiron, I think that we really are teaching them a lot of life lessons by being old and slanging it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it in my work boots. You got to. It's important in life to be adaptable.
Yeah.
Lesson number 94.
Be adaptable.
Be adaptable.
Gosh, you really got those life lessons down.
Oh,
You're really good. Like, I would need a cheat sheet.
I recently, I've been studying the book of life lessons.
Nice.
It's not that long.
Oh.
No, but
we should bring it to the JV guys. They should start to
they
look
could
at
use it. Especially T-Bone.
Yeah.
Young lad just needs a little guidance.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get him.
Life
We'll
lessons.
get him there.
We'll get him. He'll be ready.
So, you were born. You went to school. You went to another level of school where you played badminton and smacked the cock around. And then you went to college in La Crosse, at which time you studied biochemistry or education, one of those two.
They're essentially the same.
It gets
thing.
kind of tricky there.
Yeah.
Came back, you're coaching, you're hanging out. But I think that more importantly, I just need to know that if you had to pick a new name for yourself, what would it be?
A new, like, just a first name?
Yep.
Ooh.
Strike me as a Gary.
How did you know?
It's in my book.
I was thinking Walter.
Walt.
I would love to.
What would you go by if your name was Walter? Would you go by Walter? Walt? Wally?
You know what's funny? So I went to school with a Walter who went by all three at some point in our schooling.
Nice. It's funny how nicknames like change as you are a different age.
Mm-hmm. If Walter actually isn't my choice, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd go by Walt.
That's classy and elderly as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
It's very distinguished.
Honestly, I think I'd pick like Austin.
Oh.
And I don't know why. Like, I just like the name.
Like Austin Snudden.
Maybe. I don't know.
No. I think that I would be... you know a name that I really love, that I'd love to give to a human that the other person involved in potentially making future humans says no to? Cooper.
Cooper's a cool name.
It's a cool name.
That was my elementary school.
Coop? Super
I went
Coop?
to Cooper Elementary.
Oh, see?
See?
I think Cooper's great.
That's an awesome
I
name.
think that that's one of those names that, like, you could own it.
Yeah.
I know a guy named Cooper, and he's fantastic. He has red hair. I do not.
I kind of do.
Facts. You do, Walt. Oh, Wally. But also, Walt, would you ever pick up a hitchhiker?
I don't think so. I guess it depends. There's a couple things it may depend on. One,
if they're carrying an axe.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
If they're wearing an orange jumpsuit.
What is the time? Oh, okay. Yes. What is the time of day? And
3:30 p.m.
Possibly.
But they have an axe.
Then no. Not even making eye contact. Don't even see him.
But they're also dressed as a lumberjack that looks like they're tired from a day in the
Doesn't
forest.
matter.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Where am I driving that this lumberjack doesn't have transportation?
To Paul Bunyan's diner.
Okay, well, if I'm going there, I probably have a car full, so I don't think he's going to fit.
Nobody goes to Paul's by themselves.
Come on. I'm not some kind of loser. I know my name's Walt, but I'm bringing the family at least.
Of course.
Honestly, I don't think I'm picking up a hitchhiker. There's just too many. Like, I would love to be
That guy.
helpful, but there's just too many things I think that could go wrong. I don't think I'm willing to take that chance.
I think anymore in today's society, it's a bad time to pick up hitchhikers. I think in the past you could get away with it, and it was probably so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like you meet some real wild people and hear some things that way.
I also feel like people don't try to hitchhike as often
That seems true.
because they also think like,
They have hoverboards and
what are
stuff.
people? Well, yeah. What are people going to think of me? Are they
Fact.
even going to pick me up?
Will I get carpal tunnel from holding my thumb up for so long? Speaking of carpal tunnel, do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on? For me,
not to my face.
I'm a bit of a giggler. I don't ever like laugh. I don't give you like a full laugh.
just
like
quick little one. I guess someone's gonna have to tell me that one. I don't think anyone's told me anything like that. But those of you that know me, comment in.
Do you know what's a weird, very weird, like OCD kind of quirk that I have that nobody knows about, so nobody comments on it?
What's that?
If I'm eating an Eggo waffle, that sucker is being consumed in a very particular way.
Do you eat it in a circle and leave the middle to the end?
No.
Oh.
It's, and I don't know when this started or like why or what's wrong with my brain, but it's wild. So I got an Eggo waffle, right? So my first step is I cut off the 2 bottom rows.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm following the lines.
Yep.
I cut off the 2 bottom rows, fold that chunk up, eat it. Then there are 3 single rows that I cut off, little strips.
Go in the same order, or
Yep.
are they off the side? Now?
Nope. So like I'm working up,
Working my
way up. So I have 2 at the bottom.
Yep.
Fold that in half and eat it because it's kind of big.
Single. Got it.
Then a little single, and then you have 3 left. There's 3 rows left, but it's like the top of the curve.
Oh yeah.
So then I cut off one side, so it's basically like a little triangle.
Okay.
Eat that. Cut the triangle off the other side. Eat that, and I'm left with a 3x3 square, and that's the final thing I eat. Tell me that's not the strangest thing you've ever heard.
That's weird, but you know what would be more strange? If you don't cut your Eggo waffle along the lines.
Yeah.
Because then you're a monster.
You're some kind of savage.
Because even I know, not as you were talking about that, I don't eat mine in that way. I go in a circle, but I'm always cutting on lines.
You got cut on the line. That's
You
what,
can't
that's
cross
what
the
they're there
lines.
for.
Yeah. Yeah. If you, one of our listeners, eat like that, I'm sorry, but we have a problem.
Please unsubscribe.
Yes.
Don't. Or
Unsubscribed. Still listen, just unsubscribe.
Yes. Have you ever had a weird Uber experience?
I've had one Uber experience. One Uber experience. Couple taxi experiences. But the one Uber experience was kind of weird. It was in La Crosse, and I was back visiting, and we got into the wrong Uber, but no one, not us or the driver, knew until we got to our destination.
And it was not your destination?
And it was not our destination. And then my friend who called the Uber, or who ordered the Uber, looked and saw that our Uber was actually still waiting for us where we had just left, which was actually just around the block. But the driver we had took us on the weirdest route. One, I don't know why we took an Uber here, because it was down the street and up. It was like a block and a half walk. So we definitely could have just walked it. Don't know why we took the Uber. That's one. But it was like a 10-minute drive the way he took us. And there aren't any like weird, there's one-way street, and we went the correct direction and just didn't turn where we were supposed to turn. So I'm wondering if he got like, I don't know. It was weird. And he also didn't talk at all.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
Didn't say
Kinda
anything when we got in.
depends on my mood.
And I don't know how it, like, we technically didn't get a ride from our driver, and
So you probably got a negative rating. Did you know that they rate you as well as a passenger?
I did. But I did. Well, my friend who ordered it contacted the driver we were supposed to have and said, "Hey, we got in the wrong Uber and everything was fine." Well, we didn't have to pay because we weren't in the correct Uber and they couldn't charge us. So we got a free Uber ride.
Well, that's cool.
But it was just to the wrong
Place.
destination in the wrong car with a mute driver.
Love that.
Yeah.
My strangest Uber ride was with my buddy Clinton Luke. We were in Minneapolis, out on the town, and we found ourselves ready to go back and call it a night at like 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock. It was a long evening. So we got in this Uber, and I had put, I don't remember the address we were going to, but for example, I had selected North Lake Street instead of South Lake Street. So we get in the Uber and end up in a place that I'm like not familiar with, and I'm like, oh, I think this is wrong. And then I'm looking into it, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm at South Lake Street, I'm sorry. And this woman's like, nope. I had a filter on that I was only going to this part of Minneapolis because I don't have enough gas to get home, whatever. I'm not going down there. And it's 4 in the morning. And I'm like you're really not going to take us home. Nope. I'm like, okay. Can you drop us at a bar or a store? Well, nowhere's going to be open. And I was like, I understand that, but what I need you to not do is drop me off in front of somebody's house in this not that nice area of town. It's like, it's probably not the safest opportunity for the two of us.
Not a great spot, yeah.
And so finally I talked her into dropping me off in front of a grocery store that was closed, but at least like had lights and cameras. So like if something were to happen to me, if I got abducted, which I feel like I'm probably not that easy to abduct.
Right.
At least somebody would have a picture of me before I went by a grocery store.
Yeah.
So we eventually got there and had to call another Uber and finally got home. But I couldn't believe it. She's like, "Oh no, I'm not driving there." Sorry, what? I'll pay you. Oh, and then when she dropped us off, she made some sassy comment like, "And tips are appreciated." I'm like, "For what? Leaving me stranded in the middle of the city at 4 in the morning?"
Here's your tip: if someone accidentally screws up and gives you the wrong address, maybe you still take them home at 4 in the morning.
Here's a tip: be a decent human. That's pro tip 97.
Yep, it is.
That was my weirdest one.
That sounds like the worst.
I was so upset.
Especially that early in the morning.
It was horrible.
It'd be different if it was like 3 in the afternoon.
Right, that's fine. I could figure it out.
Right.
But also there were like 2 Ubers available because
and everyone is using them at that time.
Yes, it was terrible. If you could marry a fictional character, who would it be?
A fictional character?
That's right.
Dang. I think I'm going Hermione Granger.
That's not a bad choice.
Mostly because she's like super smart. I feel like I wouldn't have to do a whole lot. And she's a witch, so she can use magic.
That's helpful.
Yeah. It feels like it would just make my job, my life, my job as a husband a lot easier. Even though I'd still be a muggle. I'd be okay with that.
I'm trying to think how it worked out for the husband on Bewitched. You know? Was that guy kind of like a bum, or what was that situation?
I don't remember.
She had that little nose twitch thing. That was pretty neat. He didn't do it. He tried, but
I tried, but I feel like I'm gonna sneeze or something.
I don't know who I'd marry that was pretend.
I feel like if I had more time, like if I were given a week to think about it, my answer might change. But off the top of my head, that
was speedy, and I'm impressed because I don't know that I have it. It's tricky.
There's just so many great options.
Everybody's so great out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and they're fictional, so they're obviously great. You know?
Well, that's true. Some
I mean,
fiction.
Some of them aren't, but you got a huge. I feel weird saying that they're good options and there's a huge pool to choose from, but that's kind of what it is. They're fictional, so I don't feel bad for hurting their fictional feelings by saying that.
Yeah, it's tough. We can revisit. We'll make Jake answer that.
We'll come back to that one. We'll see if I change my answer next week.
I'll try and come up with something. My initial thought was Kelly Kapowski because I'm a big Saved by the Bell guy, and she's great. But I don't know who she became after high school. You know, I mean, there was the college years, and that's
true. Oh, actually, never mind. I already got my actual answer.
Which one?
Topanga Lawrence.
Yeah,
from Boy Meets World.
With a name like Topanga.
She's already married, and I wouldn't break up their marriage. But if she were single,
of course,
Topanga,
you gotta respect that kind of. Didn't Kelly marry Zach Morris?
Yeah, that was the wedding, I think.
Feels like I have more to offer than Zach.
Yeah. What did he ever do after high school?
Just broke the fourth wall a bunch of times.
Yeah. Froze everybody.
Nerd.
God.
But finally, I saved the most important question for last.
And I didn't know these questions ahead of time, so I don't know what I'm getting into here.
He did not. But I think it's important for us all to get to know Tyler a little better. How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
Is there a correct answer before I answer?
No, there is, but it's not written anywhere.
How many chickens does it take to kill an elephant? I'm trying to think, do chickens have like a special superpower that I'm not thinking of?
They might.
Like when it comes to elephants, they're just like, are elephants maybe scared of chickens?
It's possible.
But I think that's mice. That's always the stereotype, right? Elephants are scared of mice.
It is, but it's important to not stereotype.
I'm going to say 100 chickens.
100 chickens
to take down an elephant.
That seems reasonable.
Just there's going to be a lot of distraction going on.
It feels kind of chaotic. I feel like chickens flying around is real just chaos.
Yeah.
I would like to venture a guess and say that one very well-trained, particularly sassy chicken could do the job. And then I will encourage you all to go listen to a song called Gallo del Cielo, which introduces the song as the greatest song ever written about the sport of cockfighting. It's pretty absurd. But I think that Gallo del Cielo could do it. I've also been encouraging a dear friend of mine, an unnamed chicken owner, to A, get a rooster, and B, name it Gallo del Cielo. But please don't allow it to fight anything. Yeah, elephants, especially people, chickens.
One regular chicken's going to lose. What about the chicken from Family Guy?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Oh, you don't know that?
No, I don't. I've seen like a few episodes of Family Guy. That was one of those shows that my mom never let me watch.
Mine either, but then they got over it.
Or did they? This might be really.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out, Mom and Dad.
Shush.
No, they did, because I'm pretty sure they bought me some of the seasons on DVD after a while.
All right. Then
Probably
then I'll allow it if they allow it. I think that if a chicken stood a chance, it would likely be Foghorn Leghorn.
That's true.
He's big. He's a big guy.
He is a big chicken. He might be the biggest chicken out there, as far as I know.
Except for Jake. He's a big chicken.
He is a big chicken. Though I think Foghorn Leghorn might be bigger.
It's very possible. And how does he talk? Doesn't he talk in a real distinct manner?
Yeah, I'm not going to try, because I don't want to embarrass myself. I can hear it in my head.
I was really trying to get you to do it.
I can hear it in my head, but what I hear will not be what comes out of my mouth.
Well, I suppose that it's about that time. I had big plans for our final segment, but I think that's going to need to wait till next week, which will be good. I think that Jake will appreciate being a part of it. But next week...
It's a fun one. I'm excited.
we're going to select the Florida Man of the Week, a very prestigious honor given to one special human being.
I think they, and by they I mean the Florida men of Florida.
Florida men of Florida.
They vie, like, this is their Super Bowl championship.
This is it. This is what they do it
That's
for.
What they want.
This is the
Florida
reason
man
they get
title.
all methed up and go wrestle alligators and stuff.
Yeah.
It's because of this.
Yes, this is what they want.
The what the heck Florida Man of the Week is gonna have to wait, because it's that kind of thing. You know, lesson number 13, you can't rush art.
Correct.
And that competition is art.
It's lesson number 13, but it might be the most important.
It is.
Lesson of all, which is why it's number 13. Normally 13's not great. You want to steer clear of 13, but here,
See, I beg to differ. I was born on a Friday the 13th in October, which is probably the
Ooh.
spookiest month.
that's like,
It explains so much about me.
is that the holy trinity of?
I think it is a spook.
Yeah.
Spookism, spookiness.
Yeah, spookiness. That's the way to go.
I think it's spookiness.
Spookinism was kind of cool. Maybe we make that a thing.
I always tell Katie that she comes from a family of spooky ladies. They're all real creepy, and they go to graveyards in the middle of the night and do weird stuff.
I think I did that once. Played tag. Didn't like it.
Bad plan.
And I think we were like juniors or seniors in high school. Like, we shouldn't have been scared. But you're running through a cemetery.
Well, it depends what time you're doing it, because
Oh, it was like midnight.
well, see, what you got to do is you got to go somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour, because apparently that's the witching hour.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly why I didn't want to be there at that time.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Austin Dirksen, who seems to have a hard time sleeping during the witching hour. I'm not saying that like there's something in your room, but I'm just not like, I can't rule it out.
There's a definite possibility.
If something's touching your face, there's a reasonable chance it's not your dog, Frank, or your lovely wife. But with that, I want you all to sleep tight this evening. And if you're awake at 3 a.m., just know that A,
You're probably not alone.
you're probably not alone. But B, you're really not alone, because what can get you through that hour is a nice old episode of What the Heck. We're good in the morning. You can have us with breakfast. You can listen to us in the creepy witching hour, or, maybe play it in the background of your family meal at dinner time.
It's like a good old natter day.
It's a natter day. You can have it for breakfast, you can have it at 3 in the morning, or you can have it with your family dinner. But if you have too many, your family's not going to want to eat dinner with you anymore.
Yeah.
So keep her cool. But also, thanks for coming out tonight. It was fun. We got to get to know Tyler a little better, and I think Jake is going to be very excited about coming back to talk about the Florida Man of the Week.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. But until next week, I'm Colin Frederick for Tyler Heck, and not Jake, because he's not here. But he'll be back. Don't worry, everybody.
Yep. It's okay. He's on his way back.
But to pass the time, crack another cold one, because the night's still young. When you finish listening to this, why don't you hit the rewind? Play it again.
Yeah. Start
fun.
over. Go back to episode 1.
You might hear some of the Easter eggs we've hidden throughout the episode.
Yep. There may be a prize
A prize.
at
If
the end of season 1. We haven't decided how long season 1
yeah,
will be
it
yet.
could only be one season forever. Or, maybe this is the finale.
Who knows? That might be part of the Easter egg.
But it could be another Easter egg about, beers or song titles or what.
There's just you probably want some paper and a pencil.
You're gonna want to take notes. Definitely take notes. But until next time, let's get the heck out of here.